speakers, and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside DJ Yoakley, rocking that Cleveland hat because the Guardians have just clinched the AL Central and are playoff bound. And I know a lot of baseball fans in the area are happy about that one.
Was that a pitch? Yes. All right. Yeah, I'm excited for Cleveland baseball. Naturally, a Pirate fan by trade. But hey, anytime that Cleveland can get in and get people excited and get everybody revved up, I'm in. I'm here for it, baby.
Youngest roster in baseball doesn't even matter. What else doesn't matter on the show today? We have a big slate of guests. We have one live and a couple in the can that we're going to play for you guys, and we can't wait for you to hear. We have Maddox Andrea from United Boys Soccer joining us live at 12:15. He is a big part of that United Boys Soccer team that is currently ranked 12th in the state, one of the best teams in Division III, and they look to make a strong playoff run. We're going to talk to him and talk to him about his career, what he's been doing at United, and how much he's been successful. He's scored 26 goals so far in 13 games, and that's easy math. That's 2 goals a game right on the dot that he's averaging. So a big kid, a big star. We can't wait to talk to him live at 12:15. We're also going to hear from another soccer star from South Range this time, Logan Butcher, who is also the kicker on the football team currently. Got a chance to talk with him just a little bit ago this morning. That was a great interview with him, not just about football, but also his soccer and some personal stuff as well, and how he kind of gets through the nerves of kind of stepping up into the new position as a kicker. Of course, he didn't start as the starter because he kind of got that opportunity due to an injury, unfortunately. So he had to kind of work up the confidence in himself to kind of step up into that situation. I know you get to call him every Friday night, and he has impressed as the South Range kicker so far this season. We also are going to talk to a couple of volleyball players that you'll get a chance to hear interviews with. Carla Ramirez Ortiz from Camel, who is the new member of a 1,000 Assist Club, another milestone maker. And then we also have Riley Simons, who is on pace as a freshman in Austintown Fitch to break Emma Bartlett's record for assists in a season, already broken the record of assists in a match. Ty Bartell had a chance to talk with her over the weekend, so you'll have a chance to hear that interview today as well. So it's a packed show. Can't wait to share everything with you guys on a Tuesday.
Yeah, jam-packed. We got good bloodlines. I mean, you talk about Riley Simons. She's got unbelievable DNA. I mean, Todd Simons, her brother, started out at West Virginia, now at a JUCO school playing basketball. Her sister, very successful in, I believe, I want to say she's getting her master's or something like that. I'll have to look back at the text messages from old dad. But I know how proud their family is of all of them, and can't wait to see this Riley Simons interview. I know they're excited. They were excited when they watched it, and Ty did a great job. And Anthony, you've been killing it with the interviews, man. And these kids just continue to raise their hand whenever they're asked, as we do, to get these interviews and to have these conversations with these young people and obviously the future leaders of our communities and our country.
What I love, I'm starting to learn that these student athletes will do the interviews whenever they can, wherever they can. Like, I think if someone told them that, hey, you got to do it, but you have to do it in a janitor's closet, they'd kind of find the light in there. they turn on their phone and they would do it. I mean, it's I think everyone's kind of getting on the trend a little bit, realizing that this is their time to kind of, get their own platform out there and tell their own story.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's not 30 seconds. We're not looking for a sound bite. We're looking for your story. We're looking for you to kind of tell us how you got to where you are. And, I think everybody's kind of embraced it. It's taken, 5 or 6 years to do it, but I think everybody's on board now. And toot, toot goes the tugboat, man. Let's keep on rolling.
The more we do, of course, the more questions we get asked, like, how can I get an interview, or how do I get my kid an interview? I know a lot of coaches reach out to us as well. It's really easy. We never turn down a kid that wants to be interviewed. They just have to kind of, if they want it, they can reach out to us at any social media platform. I'll either answer or DJ will answer, and we'll do our best to work our schedule accordingly and try to squeeze you in and try to be as flexible as possible and get you on either this show or get you a pre-recorded interview that we can play at a later date.
Yeah, and it's this show, it's Power Hour, it's just in general being on ysnlive.com. Of course, we just put out tonight at Legends and at the Golden Dawn, we've got the Ursuline, but at Legends we have South Range. We got a star-studded lineup for you, starting with Dan Yeagley. Then you have Shane Lindstrom, Jake Starkey, and Aiden Leone. I'm very fortunate to be able to sit down with all those guys and talk Raider football. So come on out, 7:30 at Legends, and it's 7 o'clock, I believe, at the Golden Dawn if you're an Ursuline fan. So time to get to both those places. And, hey, we got more that are coming around. Tomorrow, Sam's Wedge In will be hosting the Austintown Fitch Coach's Corner and Player Profile. So thanks to Sam's Wedge In for kind of answering the call for that. And then the Post Office Pub over in Mineral Ridge will be hosting the Brian Shaner Show as well as Player Profiles for the Rams. So the snowball just keeps on rolling down the hill, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So lots of content on YSN. Don't miss a beat.
A dynamic slate for Ursuline. If you're going to the Golden Dawn, they're going to have cross country interviews. They're going to have cheerleading interviews. They got football player, and then they have Dan Reardon, of course. But then I think they're going to also try to talk to a little bit to Johnny Naples, who, of course, is the guy behind the Golden Dawn and behind getting us into that establishment. So it's going to be a really fun night there. And of course, DJ, you just previewed all the people you'll be able to hear from South Range at Legends. And, like you said, tomorrow, debuts of Austintown Fitch and Mineral Ridge in their own spots. That's going to be real fun to see. Brian Shaner's a great coach that we've had him on this show a handful of times in the last couple of seasons. Love talking to him, and Jake Silak is going to do a great job. Have all the faith in him. I think listening to his broadcast over the last couple of years, how much he's kind of grown into himself has been remarkable. So I have all the confidence in the world that Mr. Silak's going to do a great job hosting the Middle Ridge Coaches Corner and Player Profiles down at that Post Office Pub.
Yeah, let's not forget about Coca's Pizza featuring the Canfield Cardinals as well as the Boardman Spartans. And then Thursday, we turn things over to the West Side. The Cheney Cowboys will take things over. And naturally, Hackett's. Thank you so much for sponsoring and getting involved. And again, if you're a restaurant or a place that wants to feature some, what you have going on, you want us to have a remote broadcast from your I don't know what the word is I'm looking for right now, your place of business, reach out. It's very easy and kids seem to like it. Coaches seem to enjoy it as well. And so does the athletic department. So we would love to get you tied up with them. And usually it's community driven. So, if you're in Boardman, you want a team that's around Boardman. If you're Columbiana County, you want a team that's around Columbiana County, and we'll try to bring them to you. So you can get started over at ysnlive.com/advertise. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
DJ, tomorrow I heard there's a couple of menu items that are specially named at the Post Office Pub that we're excited about as well.
So I keep hearing about how good the food is at the Post Office Pub, and I am stoked. Like, Quinn was amped up to go, and I was like, nah, you should probably go to which there's no place that we go to that the food is bad. I will tell you that straight up right now. That's like prerequisite number one. How is the food? Is it 5-star? We're going. Because let's face it, we're broadcasters, we're sports people, we love food, we love the tailgate stuff, we love the American stuff. And let me tell you, I was just doing a little research and I'm scrolling, and all of a sudden I see it pop up, Post Office Pub, and it says, try the Valley Burger, named after Tristan Valley, the quarterback of Mineral Ridge. I cannot wait. I'm going right at it, full steam ahead. I'm walking in, I'm going to set up, and I'm going to say, I'd like the Valley Burger, please and thank you.
Did it give info like what's on it? What's the breakdown of the Valley Burger?
I think it said mac and cheese or something, like mac and cheese on a. No, you can't say because you were
I
as
do like
picky.
mac and cheese, but I'm a very plain guy. I would separate it all and be like, give me the mac and cheese on a plate, give me a plain burger on a plate, and then throw in some fries in there. Don't put it all in one thing.
You are so weird. Like I heard the story the other night about how they were ordering food and you got so bummed out, and then Brian ended up ordering you.
I told Brian it's no
plain
big deal
cheese
if he doesn't
pizza.
want to get pizza.
Plain
He wanted to
cheese
get subs and
pizza.
calzones. I had plenty of snacks in my desk. I could have eaten a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so Tristan Valley it's a bacon mac burger. So I don't know what that is. It looks like there's mac and cheese on it, but he's also a pub employee. So I can't wait. Maybe Tristan's going to be out there. I don't know if he'll be working tomorrow night. Probably not, but I'm going with it. Like as good as Tristan Valley's been this year, I can only imagine that burger being as good or maybe even a little bit better. You know, when you have a burger named after you, you have legitimized everything. That's like people ask me my goals in life. Like that's at the top of the list. Like, you know, cheeseburger, family, faith, you know, all that's named after a cheeseburger. You're golden. So
the Yokley burger.
It's got to have egg on it, right? It's got to have a little fried egg.
Gotta like it be a little breakfast sandwich.
Oh yeah, I like it. The Power Hour burger. I don't know what I mean. I would go with it.
You know, there's a reason one of our first ever morning shows, was the breakfast burrito.
Because it was yolk and peas.
Yolk and peas, right? So
I mean, I don't know who's eating peas in the morning, but apparently we did for a little bit. We were probably doing a little drinking and come up with that name. But you know, that was when my cutesy phase was just starting, with all these player profile names and stuff like that. So, you know what I really want, Ant, more than anything is I want one of those the drinks, like I don't know, an adult beverage. Mm-hmm. You know, we have all these pubs named after YSN in some capacity. Like I think that would be really, really cool.
YSN packaging, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I know that Birdfish does a lot. I know that my wife is in love with Sundog out in Columbiana. I'm more of a cider guy than a beer guy, but I think it'd be cool, you know, be able to have something where people can drink it and celebrate YSN and raise some money for a good cause at the same time. I think that'd be neat.
All right, DJ, before we get to Maddox in a little bit, we did have a couple of cool results I want to get to from last night, and I like to start with milestones when they're reached. We had one on the soccer field last night as Crestview's Nick Novak got his 100th career assist on the soccer field for the Rebels team, and they got the 9-0 victory over Middle Ridge to earn that for Novak. And assists, we talk about them in volleyball. We've had a lot of assists in the setters realm, but assists in soccer, same deal. You have to be good, but you also have to rely on your teammates to finish the play for you to get that stat. So Nick Novak has definitely been a guy that's put his teammates in the right situations to score, which I think is almost more impressive than maybe scoring, and being able to lead your teammates and find ways to put other people in positions to be able to score and help your team, you know, obviously win, because you got to score to win.
Yeah, I think it boils down to the people that have the assists, no matter what sport it is, are kind of the creators, right? They're the people that, you know, can see things before they happen, and they make things happen. And no different Nick Novak, who was a big piece of getting Crestview into that state championship last year.
Yeah, and I know they lost a lot of other pieces to that, but Nick Novak coming back and being able to, like you said, be the creator and be the guy that sets your offense up, be the guy that gets people in the right positions. That is a good piece to return. If you can't return everybody, at least you're returning the guy that really runs that offense pretty well.
I mean, we call it kingmaker, right? So, you know, in the old business, there's kingmakers, and that was the guy that kind of made you shine a little bit. And I'm going to bring that in. That's an Andy Hake term, straight up. I'm going to tell you, but I'm adopting it because kingmakers in sports are just as important. And Nick Novak, by every sense of the word, has become a kingmaker because the assists. I mean, we see all these assists in volleyball and now in soccer, and you know, all the, like, they should be the kingmakers, because that is essentially what happened. Queen makers as well, I guess. But the kingmaker, from that standpoint, you're making somebody else look a lot better than you are, and that is always a tip of the cap. Because if you can do that, you deserve that stat. You deserve that column. You deserve that ownership over as being part of that goal, because we know in soccer, especially, how hard offense is to generate. And it didn't seem like it a whole lot last night, but and Nick's a big piece of what Cressy's doing, and obviously being a foundational block of what they do from a long time ago to what they're doing moving forward.
Yeah, and some other results that we got over the weekend is Waterloo, not over the weekend, over the night. Waterloo girls soccer still undefeated, 9-0. They win last night. Kara English still doing her thing, getting those goals the way that she knows how to get them. Once again, on pace, if everything goes well the next 2 years as a junior, to still break that state record of goals in her career. Sitting at 192 is that record. She's well over 100 now, going into the 110s and the 110s. So she continues her strong season, and she's got Rose Couch and a couple other great players behind her. Waterloo is still undefeated, just that one tie on their record with Champion as they continue their way to an MVA, try to get to an MVAC championship. We saw Louisville girls get the shutout win over Canton Central Catholic. That was impressive for them. As they were able to beat them 6-0, and they got goals from 5 different players. So their offense was real spread out, 3 assists throughout that night as well. So great night for Louisville girls soccer as they moved to 6-5 on the season. We saw Girard Volleyball match up with Austintown Fitch, and this was a big marquee matchup, DJ, and the crowds were alive. Fitch brought a student bus with over 120 students to Girard. And it was awesome to see the atmosphere for volleyball down there in the Indians domain for Girard Volleyball.
When you walk in with 120 strong into a volleyball match, that's got to set the other team kind of into a corner. It set them into a panic almost, because you're not used to seeing that kind of I don't want to say support, but that kind of manpower show up and walk through the door. And I'm sure, as intimidating as it was, walking through the door 120 strong all at once was that much more intimidating, because, I mean, think about that. That's probably the entire bleachers from that one side.
Yeah, they had they had a whole section of bleachers about 6 row deep, completely filled up with students. They were loud, they were rowdy. Girard brought their student section well. It was cool. It was Girard had the black out, Fitch had the white out, so it was really contrasted. Fitch even brought their mascot, which I made very very personal friends with, because he was right next to our broadcast table. So I was always looking at that falcon when I was trying to catch the action. So it was a great atmosphere. We're talking to Coach Walters after Girard got the 3-0 win, as they really impressed. They zoned out that Fitch crowd and they were able to sweep the Falcons. But talking to him afterwards, and he was just happy for the sport of volleyball that it was able to get an almost atmosphere that you see in the college volleyball world, where students are there, they're rowdy, they're holding up signs, a little bit of a couple of friendly jabs at each other. He says he doesn't mind it. He wants his team to be able to be mentally tough and handle stuff like that.
I kind of blacked out whenever you said you made friends with a mascot. Take me through that.
Oh yeah, I was right next to him. We were fist bumping each other. It was fun. It was a fun time. I wasn't going to do anything to spoil the energy of the student section.
Like, did you guys exchange numbers, or like how does that
No,
work?
we did. You don't talk. The mascot does not talk. So
Right.
it was just like fist bumps every now and then, a high five, stuff like that, to kind of make sure that he knew that it was cool that he was there. And obviously his helper was always making sure he was out of the camera frame, which I always appreciated as well, because it was almost like an assistant. It was someone that was just making sure he was okay at all times. I'm sure it gets hot out there in that uniform, so definitely someone that was making sure he was okay, patting his back all the time. His assistant was keeping him out of the camera view, which I appreciated, and I gave him a couple of fist bumps, a couple of high fives. It was a fun night.
That's good. I was just trying to figure out how you make friends with a mascot, because like I'm all about that life. Like I'm a big fan of the Hubbard Eagle for sure. The greatest mascot of all time, as I've been told.
Did not get a selfie with him though. I was kind of upset. I
way to stay professional. Way to stay professional. Way to be above the fray.
Yep. I was gonna be like, okay, maybe not.
I wonder if they're mad that they didn't get a selfie with Anthony Hartwig.
Maybe.
Like tonight, they're kicking themselves in their nest. They're just like, man, I really had this chance to have a selfie with Anthony Hartwig, and I blew it. I blew it.
I don't think I've reached that level yet.
I don't
Maybe
know.
I don't want to. I'm not a superstar.
I don't know. That's not what I heard. I heard you're the guru of girl sports, and people have knighted you, my friend. They have knighted you.
DJ, in my experience, every time that you think that you're that level and you're a guru, you get humbled pretty quick. So I try to keep myself in check as much as possible.
You do great, man. You do great.
So that was a fun atmosphere. I know Chris Ziegler had a really good volleyball game, despite unfortunately East Liverpool falling in their first match of the season. But Carrollton and East Liverpool were just battling each other. They both traded kind of uncompetitive sets. It was good to see East Liverpool come back from one that they lost tough and win 25-13, but then Carrollton would come back and they won set 4, 25-19. They were able to win set 5 as well to give East Liverpool that first loss of the season. First loss of the season. But sometimes, DJ, when teams are kind of on this undefeated streak, sometimes having that one little loss or that one little ding can refocus a team right at the right time and get them on a run before postseason.
Yeah, that's what people say. I'm like, I don't buy it. I mean, you talked earlier about mentally tough.
Right.
I'm not in the phase that one loss makes you stronger. I'm of the mindset that, at the end of the day, if you're mentally tough, you're mentally strong, it's not going to take a loss to wake you up. But there was a lot going on in that East Liverpool locker room. There's some things that happened, prior to the game that kind of shook them to the core. We want to send thoughts and prayers to not only the entire East Liverpool team, but specific player on that team as she deals with what is a huge loss in her world. So not giving any excuses, but listen, when you hear something like that, hours, even just an hour before the game, that's a tough scenario. So, at the end of the day, we're all human. We're praying for you. We're hoping that things, turn out for you.
We had Maddox. He just popped in and he popped out. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in here soon as we were finishing that thought. But man, a lot of programs going through stuff like that right now, and it's something that you just really hate to see. And now he'll pop back in. So let's pop in Maddox and get him in and talk to one of the premier soccer players in the area from Hanoverton United. Maddox, Andrea, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, this soccer team, we know it's so good. It's ranked 12th in the state right now in Division III. What has been the key factor in this team's success so far, and from your perspective this season?
Yeah, it's been a joy playing for this team. I mean, the camaraderie we have is truly something special, and just to use it and apply it into our game is definitely something that gives us a competitive advantage.
Maddox, I got to ask, you're a scorer, man. I mean, it's got to feel good whenever that goal goes or that ball goes through the post. But do you like being able to kind of drop an assist every now and then to your teammates, and how does it make you feel?
Definitely, yeah. I think an assist counts as much as a goal does, and being a part of the play, and whether you're the one that starts the play or finishes it, it's all important.
When you total up your goals and your assists, you are responsible for 37 goals this season. Or I should say you have your hands or feet, I should say, in 37 goals this season. What has worked so well for you specifically? I mean, what were some things that you worked on in the offseason and you really saw yourself grow in from last year to this year? Because we heard your name a couple times last year, but it seems like you've really spread your wings and flew and taken off this year, especially.
Well, last season, over the summer, I went to an ID camp at Akron, and the one thing that he told me to work on was my clinical finishing. So I took that into account, and I've been nonstop working on when I get in front of goal to make sure that I'm putting the ball in the back of the net, and when I have the ball at my feet to make sure that I can keep it with a good solid touch to get either a good pass or good shot. So my clinical finishing is definitely something that is my number one priority right now.
Okay, so you talked about kind of what other people think that you need to work on. Going into this offseason, what did you think you needed to work on? How did you look at how you make your team better and take them to that next level?
Well, as you know, we fell short of that district title last year, which was a bit heartbreaking, but I can't really complain because the team we lost to was definitely something special. That Kirtland team was something to look at and improve on. So I watched that game back, and I was watching Marco Valentic actually, and the way he could just receive the ball, turn, and then deliver a pass on a dime wherever he wanted to, or take a shot from anywhere that would have the power to go in, was definitely something that I would look up to, and definitely something I would work on. And that was probably my number one goal, was to work on losing the ball less and punishing defenses more for their mistakes.
Oh, the Punisher. It sounds like you're a real big student of the game and you like to watch film. You like to break down other players and see what they're doing good and kind of piece it into your game a little bit. If you had to give, whether it be a professional soccer player, a former United soccer player, whatever it be, if you had to give one person credit for maybe the most part of your game or the one that you've kind of mirrored the most, who do you think would get that nod?
Well, for sure, my number one idol is Christian Pulisic. Whenever he's on the ball, he's so explosive. His speed, his touch, everything is so clean. His finishing is definitely something to look up to, and he's definitely my number one idol, by far. But as goes for United players in the past, my cousin Luke Medor, he was a great passer of the game. He could do whatever he wanted with the ball, you know what I mean? And that was definitely something that was one of my main things that I wanted to make sure I was accomplishing in high school.
So naturally, when you look at where this team is ranked in the state, there's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder because you probably and your teammates probably think you guys should be a little bit higher. However, being ranked in the state is something to be proud of nonetheless. What things do you guys look at? Do you ever look at that ranking and say, hey, we have to protect this, we have to keep grinding to get better and better and better? Or is it something you're proud to see, but you just trying to let it wash over you and not worry about it?
Well, as you say that, actually, our coach Jones is definitely, he's told us he's proud of us for getting this ranking, but he's told us we have a target on our back now with this, and setting a program record for highest we've ever been is definitely something special. But to make sure that we know any team on any given day can beat us, and they always are going to want to be with this ranking now. So now that we have it, we need to keep it, and that's the one thing we're working towards. With JFK coming up this week, it's going to be a pretty big game. We need to prepare well for that.
Earlier, you brought up falling short in the district championship last year. I'm wondering how much you guys were able to learn from that loss and how much you kind of took away from things that you can do better this time around to maybe take that next step and win a district championship.
Yeah. So the way we scored our goal in that championship was bringing the ball down the wing and crossing it into a finish. That is something that Coach Jones has implemented into our play style this year, and that's his way of wanting us to get goals, right? So whenever we looked at how we broke down that very good defense, he's taking that into account, and now our whole team has kind of developed this new bring it down the wing, put it in the middle, but also keep switching it up, keep the defense on their toes, and just to kind of watch back that game and see where our mistakes were, because as a player in that game, it was definitely something that was a very fast game, and we just were having trouble keeping the ball in that fast turf, and that's something that definitely we need to work on, just to make sure we can have the ball, keep it in possession, and then do something with it in the attack.
All right, so we're going to get off the politically correct answers now, because in football, quarterbacks like to score. In soccer, scorers love to score. They like to keep that aggressiveness going. How challenging is it in games where you guys are trying to be patient and kind of set back a little bit, protect the lead, do things of that nature, to not just go down the sideline and try to put one in the net and finish it?
Yeah, it's it's definitely challenging. Ursuline was a team that we played a few weeks ago, and their defense is very solid. Just so they shut us down in the first half. We were having trouble breaking them down, but it's about building around them and using that chemistry that we've built up since we were 8 playing in rec league. So just to use what we have and put it into perspective versus against these really good defenses, it's definitely something that we need to make sure we're capitalizing on.
When you look at one of the things I always like about soccer and I admire about soccer players and coaches, there are no timeouts. You know, you get one chance at halftime to regroup as a team and make adjustments, but that's it. So, what kind of things do you guys do on the field to try to make adjustments on the fly and try to do what other teams are able to do during timeouts that you guys can't?
Yeah, well, no timeouts is certainly a challenge in this game because whenever we start off the game slow or or started off like we're not on our toes at all, we're sitting back. We tend to Jones will sub off some of the leaders on our team, and he will tell them, "Listen, spread the word. Just we need to relax. We need to calm down. When we have the ball, just keep it, move it around, and the goals will come." That's what he says.
So I'm interested because you said leaders with an S. You
Mm.
obviously are among the leaders on this team. Where did you get your particular leadership style, and where does it fit in on this Eagle squad?
Well, I was a ball boy for this high school team for as long as I can remember, and whenever I watched them play, I admired the fact that they all talked to each other at every given moment of the game. They were all letting each other know when they had mistakes, when they needed to improve on stuff, and that is something that I have set out to do on this team. Is whenever I see something going wrong, just fix it and then build from there.
All right. So off the field, one of the things I want to ask you is, what are some sports outside of soccer that you think you would like to kind of throw your hat in the ring if you had a chance to go back in time and excel in? What sports do you look at and say, I wish I could, excel in that sport?
Well, obviously for me, soccer is 24/7, 365 days, so I don't ever really get an off break. But if I ever was to find another sport to play, it would probably be one of three: golf, basketball, or maybe a football kicker.
I was just going to ask you, has Coach Ogilvy ever asked, hey, Maddox, you look like you kick the ball pretty well. What are you doing on Friday nights?
Yeah, the kicking coach actually, Mr. Kilroy, says he wants me to maybe think about it my senior year because my dad was somewhat of a legend of that aspect. He played for Mount Union College, broke a few records there, and he's always wanted me to kick. So yeah, I don't know. I have teachers and coaches kind of asking me if I want to do it or not. I don't know.
When you look at getting questions like that and some of the other things that people ask you or I guess people try to understand about soccer, what's the most asked question that you get about your sport, and what do you think is the most common, I guess, not known or unknown fact about the sport you play?
Yeah. Well, I would have to say the mental health of all the athletes on this team because I am one that sort of kind of struggles in that area. So the mental side of this sport is as much important as the physical side. So one thing that I try to do is to block out the noise as much as I can, focus on me, focus on my game, and that's something that I feel people don't necessarily think of when they think of a soccer player.
All right, Maddox, last question I have for you. From my perspective, leadership's huge. We've already talked about it a little bit. You,
Mhm.
you talked about your dad being a legendary part of your life and a guy that it looks like you're kind of following that path. Who are the people, your dad included, that are role models in your life and people that you look up to and want to emulate?
Well, certainly my dad's on that list. He's always pushing me to be the best I can be. He's always been there for when I'm going through tough times. The exact same thing with my mom. They're always the first people to let me know. Listen, that game wasn't the best, but the next one will get them right. Mom has played a massive part in that as well. But I think one of the most important role models in my life has been my grandma. She's always the one to let me know when there's something going wrong on the field, and she's always the one that lets me know I'm not playing my best game, but she'll fix it. She's Coach Grandma. She does all she needs to do. She's definitely someone I look up to.
All right, so I have one more for you as well, and then we'll get you out of here. What I want to know is, you brought up earlier that you have 24/7 soccer on the mind, and you're going hard. You almost don't get a break. So, with all that being said, How do you fight the kind of the trap of identifying yourself as a soccer player and staying away from knowing that your value and your kind of your importance doesn't come from, success on the soccer field, that you're able to kind of separate your identity, your self-worth and your playing ability?
Hmm. Well, being a student is as much important as being an athlete. And I think when I learned that was when I was younger, my coach did this thing where we did a juggling competition. So we would do as much as we could and see, 50 was gold and 75 was platinum or whatever. I doing that, I was out there for hours that whole week and until I was in tears. My legs were my legs were broken. And at that time I was realizing that it's not all about the sport of soccer. Like it comes to the reality that there might be a future outside of the game, right? So being a student is probably my number one priority, to second being an athlete.
It's great to hear, Maddox. We wish you the best of luck going forward in your career. We look forward to supporting you and covering you throughout the rest of it. And we will look forward to also talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you for having me.
Maddox Andrea from United Boys Soccer, an impressive young man, an impressive leader for that team, and one of the ones that we are not surprised that he is having as much success as he is on the field.
No, not. I mean, when you talk to that young man, he speaks like he's been in professional soccer or a professional sports for years. I mean, that's a 16, 17-year-old kid right there. It's hard to believe that he's got that much maturity. But he said he's been around the game for so long, being a ball boy. So maybe it's not that surprising, but it's always interesting how these interviews go. And Maddox is wise among beyond his years, and I love watching him play soccer, man. He's one of those kids that can score wherever he is on the pitch. So I hope he keeps at it.
DJ, we do have one more guest that I forgot to promote. It was someone that was scheduled today about a week ago, and I just forgot to promote it. But we do have Hannah Rush from West Branch Volleyball coming on at 1:00. She got a link before the show, so she'll be coming on. I apologize for forgetting to promote it. It was one that just, when you schedule something a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, and you're in the mad rush of trying to get these interviews, that you just kind of slipped the mind a little bit. But she is coming on at 1:00. She is also a member of the 1,000 Assist Club, so she got a milestone. So we're gonna give some love to her at 1:00. Hannah Rush from West Branch Volleyball. Before all that, let's take a break, our first break of the day, and pay some bills on Running Point. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Chili's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. DJ Yoakley, and we have a lot more to get to throughout the show. And what do you say, DJ, that we hear from one of these interviews, and then we come back, we get ready for Hannah Rush at 1 o'clock from West Branch?
Hey, man, your ship.
Let's do it. Let's hear from Riley Simons from Austintown Fitch, the setter. Ty got a chance to talk with her a little bit earlier this weekend. Let's hear what she had to say about her freshman season.
What's up, everyone, in Ysn Live Nation? Here with another player profile. We go into Austintown Fitch territory with the superstar setter Riley Simons coming on the scene as a freshman and really taking the program by storm. And Riley, from everything I've heard about, you have been playing volleyball for as long as a lot of other people can remember. So I'm sure for as long as you can remember as well, from stories of you being as young as 8 playing the sport. Let's just start with where you're at right now and the adjustment you had from middle school volleyball to high school volleyball, what that adjustment's been like for you, and what are some noticeable differences you're seeing in the sport?
Through high school, you have to take more initiative and be a better leader and make a bigger impact on the team. It's much faster paced, so you have to adapt to that right away.
Do you feel like you need to be a good conversationalist or be able to have good conversations with your team, being that you are the setter? I mean, you stepped on to this varsity team too, and you've already, like I said, put up some phenomenal numbers. I mean, you're on pace to perhaps take the season record for most assists in a season at the program. So it's big stuff happening here. What is that like, building that relationship with your team to get them have this confidence in you as their setter too? Because we talked to all your teammates throughout, and they're all super confident in you being their setter, and they say you do a fantastic job too. So what goes into building those kind of relationships?
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, during the summer, you just want to get as close as you can with all your hitters and just everyone on the team. But you need to know how to have a good conversation, a positive conversation with all your hitters on what they want and what they expect from you and what you expect from them.
What's Jocelyn Jordan particular about when setting her up for kills?
Sometimes it's more tempo, but other times we're just running certain sets that she likes. She likes to change it up a lot, so we're always mixing it up.
You come from a very athletic family. Your brother is already on the board. I mean, your family members are all athletic. Your parents were super athletic in high school too. Talk about the environment and the level of competition it's like in the Simons household too. Is there some steep competition between you guys inside that household?
Yeah, everyone always wants to be the best. We're always comparing each other. And it's honestly a great environment to be in because you always like want to do your best and you don't want to let anybody down. But it's just a fun time because you get to compete with your family and stuff.
What's that family game night look like as far as Simon's family? What's the go-to game for that?
We really like Pictionary and like board games. Pictionary is a big one in our family.
Who usually reigns supreme in Pictionary?
My sister Lainey, she's
Do you have a game that's like your game though? That like if they break out that board game or card game, even like there's no doubt this is yours.
I'm really good at Uno.
Uno. Uno's a big one too. I feel like we got a lot of Uno champions too. That was always a big thing too when I was in Fitch. Always playing Uno too in the downtime in classes. Everyone always had a deck. Back into the volleyball realm though, and I mean, you talk about building those relationships too, and just coming from that athletic family. You were 8 years old using baby dolls as cones to to run drills that you were watching the girls doing. I mean, what was that like, and what really intrigued you with the sport of volleyball at such a young age to make you want to imitate what you were seeing from the older girls?
Well, my cousins and my sister, they all played volleyball just growing up because I was much younger than them. So just like going to all my sister's practices, I just wanted to be as good as her, and I wanted to prove myself that I could just be just as good.
What is it like to play with such a high level of confidence? Because it doesn't seem like you get rattled too much too. I mean, freshman starting varsity seems like an intimidating thing for most, but it doesn't seem like you have too much that you're worried about. I mean, you're also top of the serve order too. What gives you such a high level of confidence when you step on the volleyball court?
Playing like for a club team like I do, like I gained so much confidence in the past year that like when I came to Fitch, I was like ready to go and I was so excited to play varsity, and I just wanted to like make it known to the other girls that like I'm here for you and like I am not going to back down, and I hope you don't either.
I know. Coach Bartlett is one of the best coaches I think in the area. I think the assistant too, Caitlin Barber, is always great for a laugh as well too. What have you learned specifically from this coaching staff too that has helped further your knowledge and your skill in the sport of volleyball?
Biggest thing I've learned from Coach Bartlett is like I need to be a leader on the court and I need to take charge because like that is mainly what my position is, and I need to like take charge in the game, and I have to make smart decisions when we're playing.
You guys have been rolling too, and you just played in a tough 5-set match. You guys have had a couple of those kind of matches too. When tensions are running high and you guys are needing to clutch up and get those big points late in the game too, get those big kills. What are you saying to yourself? What are your conversations with those teams and being a leader and trying to get everyone calmed down and focused on the task?
Yeah, I just really just want everyone to stay calm and like stay focused throughout that. We don't want to lose our focus and we don't want to get in our own head. So honestly, I have to just read the defense like on the other side of the court and see what they're doing and see who's the best option to set every time.
You also have been playing with some high-level volleyball players too. The 2 years at Infinity, you had Grace Sauer and Abby Emsch, and we know them very well from the Crestview program too. And Alicia Auer, also a great coach that you've had that experience with. Do you see it as a benefit to have so many coaching minds have influenced you throughout your career already? And what do you take away from having that experience of playing with older girls and being able to hang with them like that?
Yeah, I love playing with older girls. Like you learn so much from them. You obviously have to be more mature and they expect you to be better. So you just got to roll with it, and you learn so much more from like when you're playing up and you have a faster pace than what you have when you play your own age, I think.
A lot of things to be proud of for what you've accomplished on the volleyball court, but I think there's a lot more to be proud of for the fact that you've been a 4.0 student throughout all of it too, and taking care of the work in the classroom too. Where do you find the time to manage the schoolwork and the volleyball load and find success in both areas?
Honestly, I try to get work done during school, but if not, I like to do it before school. I can't really do my homework at nighttime. I like to do it right before school, which might not be the best option, but
Hey, whatever it gets it done. I always said too, if you walked into class too on the day it's due, if the work's done in your hand, it's done, right? It's done before. Who cares when it got done, right? But for you too, you're maintaining the 4.0, so whatever works, hey, keep on rolling with it. On this volleyball season, though, you guys already a great start of the season. Only one loss, 12-1, if I'm not mistaken. You got a big one though coming up with Girard. I know a lot of the older girls are excited too. I'm sure you're excited as well, knowing that this is going to be tough competition and some of the best volleyball players in the area you're going up against. From I guess halfway point of the season too, what do you think the biggest things that you've learned from beginning of the season to now are, and what are some of the biggest improvements you've seen from the team from beginning of season to now?
I think our hitters have become so much more confident in themselves, and I think that's our biggest like strength at the moment. Like our hitters are doing so well. Our serving has improved so much. Like we're so much more consistent, and our defense is still getting there. I think we can obviously improve in like everything, but we're doing really well in like our hitting so far.
Oh, Mike was muted. I know you already have a great relationship with the other freshman on the team, and Kylie for Folkwine too, and we've had a chance to talk with her as well. And you mentioned the serving game. You're at the top of that serve order for a reason. Your serving percentage through the roof at like 98% plus. It's ridiculous. But Kylie, we've also seen adding this drop serve. She's had 17 aces in the last 2 games. From your experience in volleyball too, how impactful is the serve game in translating to success for a volleyball team?
Well, that's how the whole play starts. When you have the ball, you always have to be smart with that and make a good decision on where you want to place the ball. So I think we're doing really well with that. Kylie's been doing great on this behind the serving line.
I know this team has not gotten a whole lot of attention because of the other senior-led teams that are in the area. A lot of talent in this area for sure. But how good do you think this team can be?
I think we can go far. I know like some upperclassmen our goal is to win districts this year, and I think that's achievable. We just need to keep pushing and like do as best we can this season for.
All right, we're going to play a little bit of rapid fire before we get out of here. You ever play rapid fire?
No, I'm not really good at this.
So, hey, if we take a little bit of extra seconds, we'll be all right too. Just give me the best answer. We can have a little conversation about it as well. Let's talk about the best hangout spot for after a big win. Where's the place to go to eat, or what's the grub to get for after a big win?
I like Sam's Wedge Inn is good.
Sam's Wedge Inn. Do you have a go-to order from there when you go to Sam's Wedge Inn?
I like the boneless wings, probably. Yeah.
Is there a sauce on it, or you just go plain Jane?
I like barbecue or like mild.
Don't kick up on the heat too. You got to keep it sweet with the barbecue and the mild. I dig it. Sports wise, I know you're big into volleyball too, but if there was another sport you wish you could play, what would that sport be?
Probably softball. I always wanted to play that. I did play it and then I quit eventually, but I wish I continued.
Any sports that you tend to watch on TV?
Yeah, I like to watch college basketball, like men's.
Who's your team that you follow in college men's basketball?
I like Duke.
Duke, you're a Duke fan. Okay, I'm sure Quinn Pushkar would love to hear that from Ysn as well. Favorite athletes or athletes that you looked up to? Obviously, Lainey's one too. I mean, we know you're and your older sister, but some other athletes that have had a big influence on you in your career.
From like a college point, I would say Catherine Plummer. She's from like Stanford. I always looked up to her, and this girl, the setter from Nebraska, Nicklin Haynes. I loved her, watching her.
What is your favorite memory in the sport of volleyball?
Oh, goodness, that's a hard one.
One of your favorite. It doesn't need to be the favorite. You could just pick first one that comes to mind. As when I say like favorite memory of volleyball, what's the first thing that pops into mind?
When my team made nationals this year, when we qualified for club.
That's a good one too. I mean, you've been playing on some great teams as well, and I mean, we're looking forward to seeing how much further you can go with this. I mean, you're looking at this right now, Riley. You're about 130 assists shy of a season record, so we wish you the best of luck. So, looking at that as well, before we let you go, what is that like for you? You already hold a record now at Fitch. You have the most assists in a match. Like we said, you're on pace to have most assists in a season. What is that like to already have your name be up on that board too? That for a program that's been standing for quite some time over there in Austin Town.
Yeah, at first I didn't I didn't expect to break any of the records my freshman year. But I am proud of myself for doing that, and I really want to break the season record this year.
Is there a little bit of competition between you and Joe of who's going to get their record first too? Because I know Joe's going for the kills record, and you could go for a season record too. Is there kind of a race internally between you two?
That she did have a goal of when she wanted to get it by. I think it's different, so I wasn't really comparing it. Maybe
yeah.
Doesn't really affect me.
Really something special though that you guys both have chances to get records too. You both already have broken records again this season too, and you're on pace to break another one too. You already have a great season and a great career ahead of you, Riley. Before we let you go though, I want to give you a chance to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and thank all the people that have been cheering you along the entire way through.
Yeah, I want to thank my family and obviously my teammates, especially my club coaches too. They made a huge impact on me. So thank you, everyone.
All right, Riley, we thank you so much for your time. This is Riley Simons, Fitch Volleyball Setter Player Profile.
I was Riley Simons with Ty Bartell. A great interview from one of the Fitch stars in the volleyball program and a freshman nonetheless. Very well-spoken young lady that I'm impressed. That was probably her first interview, and she did a really good job. So DJ, you got a chance to hear that, and I know you were also doing some stuff as well. But Riley Simons, like I said before, and we've talked about it, pedigree, family ties, the bloodline is there. But one of the things I'm most impressed with, I'm always impressed with freshmen or young players that are able to step onto a varsity floor and lead a team that has quite a bit of seniors on it. You know, when you're a setter, you're a quarterback, you're a point guard, there's no way around being a leader on the team, right? You can't not be a leader on the court. So when young players are able to just automatically not be intimidated by that moment and lead players that are older than them, I'm really impressed by that.
It's always a scary thing. As an underclassman, you don't want to overstep your bounds. You don't want to sit there and point to yourself as a leader. You're just trying to fit in, and you're just trying to do what's right by the team at that point until you find yourself. And I think that one of the things you're going to find is Riley found herself very quickly. She was very comfortable with the team that she's playing on. The moment is never too big for her. So from a standpoint of where she's at, she gets a lot of that from those bloodlines you talked about. Her older brother Todd, just an unbelievable player on the basketball floor as well as on the gridiron. So it's one of those things where when the youngest always benefits by kind of the path that is cut out for them by the older siblings, and Riley Simons is no exception of the rule.
Ty broadened out, I think, being on that Infinity squad that we heard of in the summer that went to nationals in Indianapolis and had so much success in the JO volleyball season this summer. That's a big boost of confidence when you're able to play with players like that and lead them before you even start your varsity career.
Yeah, I think it boils down to experience, and these kids are getting experience at a younger and younger age, and they're getting more and more reps, which, as we know very well, the more reps you get, the better you're going to be, because you can, get analysis from other people. You can do self-analysis, and as long as you're looking to improve and break down the tape and get better and be coachable, you're always going to have a leg up on the competition.
So we're going to go from that freshman, and pretty soon, any minute now, we're going to be talking to Hannah Rush, who is a senior leader for the West Branch volleyball team, sitting at 12-3 right now. And the setter returns, they lost a lot of hitters from last year, Sydney Mercer being the one that is highlighted, went on to play at Mount Union, playing now for college. So anytime you lose a college level player, that's going to be a big hit to the program. But when you return a senior setter, that can make the transition really smooth. And their offense hasn't missed a beat because Hannah Rush has been able to do a good job getting those players into system, getting them where they need to be. And earlier in the season, she was able to reach her 1,000th career assist, which is another milestone that we see. We see a lot of those happening in the middle of the season. She's another one. She did it her senior year, and she was able to do it at home as well. So West Branch was proud of her. I know they had a ceremony a couple of games later to congratulate her and to be able to give her the game ball of that game. West Branch community, when you do something well at West Branch, boy, do those fans and those people get behind you like crazy.
I always think it's interesting. You know, you have teams like West Branch, South Range, Crestview, Lakeview as well. Teams that aren't named necessarily after a town or a city. I always feel like, and this is just an observation, I could be completely off on this. I always feel like they kind of back their teams a little bit more because it's multiple communities that are backing that one particular school. So it's really interesting to me. And like you said, West Branch, they always back. It doesn't matter if you're winning, if you're losing, it doesn't matter. If you are green and white, you are going to be backed and supported big time. And this community continues to come up big for whatever and whenever the situation calls for them.
I've told coaches this before, and they picked a great color scheme because that green sticks out anywhere they go. So if you go somewhere and there's a big crowd of green, you can't miss them.
What is it about green?
I don't know. Like there aren't a lot of schools in this area with that green as a color scheme. It's one that kind of sticks out. It's an eye-popping green. It's not like the camo green or the forest green. It just kind of, I think it really sticks out, and I think you can always spot a West Branch fan, even if they're in a crowd full of other teams' fans.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. You know, we usually identify South Range with the burgundy and gold. Right. Southeast as well has been another team that looks identical to that. But West Branch, I'm not sure. Like Canton Central Catholic, maybe.
I mean, I know Ursuline's a little bit darker. They're like the forest green with the gold, but you know that pure. I don't know what you would call it. I say pure only because it's probably at the middle of that color range of green, but it's one that I think pops. Maybe I'm unique in that opinion, but I think that green, it pops a little bit. We'll talk to Hannah Rush about it a little bit. Hannah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Senior setter, member of that 1,000 Assist Club. We are so fortunate to have you here on with us today.
Oh, we got some issues here, Ant.
Do you hear that?
Oh yeah, I can hear that.
Me?
Yeah, okay. There's some kind of technical difficulty, Hannah. We're hearing like I don't know what that is.
Sounds like a Pong.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. Beep, 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 beep. Hopefully, Hannah. Maybe if Hannah can jump out and jump back in, it might self-correct.
Refresh the browser. Sometimes that'll work. But when you look at it, back to talking about West Branch and the volleyball team, one of the unsung heroes, I think, is libero Reagan Green. I think coming into her sophomore season, defense starts everything, and when you can get a setter an easy opportunity to get under the ball and not have to run around the court, that's a big reason why Hannah Rush was able to just transition real smoothly into losing a couple of hitters, bringing a couple of new hitters in the fold. A lot of people don't talk about the defense of volleyball, and when you can really make life easy on your setter, she can have the opportunity to really let the hitter shine. And when you have hitters like Michaelin Fitz and Claire Brunner, who's won Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley, that's a big advantage. Let's see if Hannah was able to establish a better connection. Let's bring her in. Still that Pong sound. It might be something with the microphone. You think?
I'm not sure, my friend. This is why you do checks before the show starts, and this is why we're on live streaming here. You know, things go wrong.
We'll continue to try that, and if worse comes to worse, we'll be able to get her maybe off air sometime and have a little bit more time to fix that issue. And let's see if popping right back in. Let's see if maybe she tried a new device or something like that.
Here, I'll bring her in.
Oh, I think we both hit it at the same time. All
There
right,
we
I think
go.
we fixed it. Hannah,
Okay.
thank you so much for
I
taking
tried-
the time to join us today.
Thank you. I tried getting on a different device, so hopefully this works.
It's
It
perfect.
works great. It's perfect now.
Thanks.
So Hannah, we talked about it before. We were kind of previewing this interview as you came in. I know you lost a couple of hitters to graduation last year, but you were able to just pick up right where you left off as a setter. What was it like in the summer trying to build a little bit of a stronger relationship with some of your hitters that were kind of stepping into new roles and trying to keep this offense in rhythm as you headed into this season?
I definitely think it was kind of easier this year than it has been in the past since we have a larger senior class this year. So like I have a lot of hitters that were experienced and they just stepped up to the plate. We did lose a big outside hitter last year, and I think our new outsides really came in and they took that role very seriously this year, and they do a very good job right now out there, like filling that role.
Hannah, I don't know if you take chemistry or not, but it seems like this West Branch Lady Warrior team has a lot of chemistry on the floor. What do you attribute that success to? And you talked about what you lost. The young ladies that come in like yourself and kind of make things happen, no matter who's on the floor. Where does that chemistry come from?
I definitely think that off the floor, like we are all like really close to each other. We talk a lot outside of school, like in school, and then like at practice. We did spend a lot of time together this summer at different camps, and like everyone is like, we're all very close with each other. And I just think that being close off the floor, when we're able to like step on the floor, that, you know, it's like a sisterhood kind of. Like we can go to each other for everything. And it really helps our chemistry on the floor, being able to like be like best friends off the floor.
I've had a chance to see this team this year, and what impresses me the most is this defense that you guys have in the back row. Makes your life a lot easier when you don't have to run across the floor trying to get balls to set them. Talk about the back row that you have and how much they make your life easier as a setter.
I have my libero is a sophomore, Reagan Greeneisen. She has a lot of experience on the floor. She started as a libero last year, and she's there this year. And Reagan is very consistent with her passing. She's able to pick many, many things up, and I think it works very well. We did change our defense a little bit. We were running a perimeter defense, and we switched to a middle up to take away like a lot of the tips, and I think that has really helped our team a lot in the past few games that we've been using it. It allows for Reagan, and then we have Adele and Anna Curry back there, all great back row players. They're able to like get the ball right to me, and then we can set it up and put the ball away.
Naturally, we talk about the DeShields clan a lot on YSN. You are being tutored by one of the best volleyball coaches in the area, in Coach DeShields. Talk about the relationship that your coach has with your players this year.
I think that our relationship we've had, she's been my coach and like our coach for a very long time, 4 years. And I think that she knows each and every one of us. She knows how we take when she's talking to us on things that we need to fix, she knows what to say to us to get through to us. She knows how to get us excited and ready to go for a game, how to run practices, obviously. She gets us ready for the games. Every game she gets us ready mentally, and I just think that it's really good to have such an experienced coach that knows exactly what she's doing and how to get through to her players.
We get to see her a lot on the sidelines. Talk about something that maybe other people don't know about Coach DeShields that you think the world should know about her that we don't get to see during the games.
She's very funny at practices. We do laugh a lot. She's sarcastic a lot at practice, likes to crack jokes, which I don't think a lot of people think when they see her. I think everyone thinks she's very serious, but she does like to crack jokes a lot. She's funny.
We just got done talking about West Branch and the community and how it continues to just surround and support. It's seemingly every single athletic team and team in general out there that has the green and white represented. What makes West Branch just an unbelievable community to play in front of and play for and support?
I think that West Branch, it's just a lot of parents graduated from West Branch and their kids go there now. So it's like you're brought up in this community and everyone wants to support everyone through everything. Like there's people that don't have children on, like, for example, the volleyball team, and they still are at the game supporting us. And I just think that that stems on like just coming to the school, growing up here, having your kids here, and then like your grandkids. Like I just think people love the community and they love supporting everything.
As we said at the top of the interview, 1,000 career assists attributed to you now. What was that moment like with your team, and how hard have you really worked to get that goal and to finally achieve it? What'd that feel like from your perspective?
I did not know at the exact moment when I hit the 1,000. I didn't find out until the next game. Our coach wanted to keep it a surprise so that it would be like when it was announced, it was like a little more exciting for me. So I didn't know at the exact moment, but when we did find out, everyone was really excited for me. And I think that it is a very big accomplishment and I worked really hard for it, but I wouldn't be able to do it without my passers being able to get the ball to me and then my hitters being able to put the ball down for me.
Is there a scenario where you've kind of kept track of kind of those particular moments?
I don't know if I really just keep track. I just try to keep my head in the game and just keep going. I think it's awesome to get a kill, so I like to get kills. I like to set my hitters up, let them
Did
put
you
the ball
go
down
back
for me.
and try to find that 1,000th career assist to see like who got it, who got the kill that gave it to you, and things like that?
No, I have not.
Is it one of those scenarios for you that you know, I guess is a better question from the last question. I know that you're a team player. Do you ever set out personal goals for yourself and roll them out? And you know, it sounds like you don't care as long as you get the win and you're helping your teammates.
I definitely think that it is a team game. So as long as as we work as a team and if we get the role done as a team, I think that you individually it matters what you do, but altogether it's what you do as a team. So I would rather roll out some team goals to get accomplished so that we can get the win.
It is your senior season, and unfortunately, it's winding down quick as we head towards the month of October. Have you started to get reflective at all about your time in the program and some of the things you're going to miss so much about it when you do have to graduate?
I'm definitely going to miss staying after and practicing and getting ready for games and being on the bus with the team. Mostly, I think when I do graduate and go to college, I'm going to miss the underclassmen and the relationship that I've built with them most.
What's the legacy? What's the one word that you want to leave behind when you are done walking the halls as a student at West Branch?
There's a lot of words that I would like to say, but I don't think anything beats just teamwork, like together, being a team together.
In the same avenue, if we had to ask you to define what it means to be on a warrior, to be on not just this volleyball team, but a part of this community and a part of the school system, how would you define that identity as a warrior, as a West Branch student?
I think that warriors they're team players. They like to work together. They're very caring. I think everyone in the school is very kind. Everyone's helping each other out all the time. But I really do think teamwork is the major thing here and working together.
Hannah, who are some of those players that you're going to want to come home and watch next year and see how they progress over from this year to the next?
I will definitely watch all of the juniors that will be seniors. I have McKaylin, Liv, Showalter. I'll be watching Reagan. A lot of the girls that I play with this year, I will try my hardest to stay on and watch them.
While we look at your future, what are some of your future plans that you have after you graduate high school?
I'm hoping to graduate and go to college and study psychology. I'm not sure where I want to go yet, but I do know that I want to study psychology.
All right. So I don't know if you've been out there in the real world yet and been able to like cook for yourself and do your own laundry. What's one thing that you're really looking forward to doing on your own? And what's thing that you really don't want to do on your own that you wish you could take mom and dad maybe with you?
I want to take my mom to cook for me because she, for sure. I think I'm just excited for the independence, like getting to be on my own and see how much different it is from how I'm living, like how I live now.
What's the best home cooked meal that your family has put on the table?
Oh, I'm not sure. She makes a lot of good ones. I'm gonna have to go with stuffed shells. I don't know if you guys have ever had those.
Oh yeah.
But those are probably my favorite.
What is the biggest thing that you're going to take away from this year of being a part of this team for the rest of your life?
I think this year has definitely been a great year. I think this year is the hardest we've ever worked off season, and I just want to take that hard work with me throughout the rest of my life and work as hard as we have this year.
All right, last question from my end, and I want to ask about these teammates that you've been, sporting the flag for so well in this interview. Who do you think is one of your teammates that kind of embodies that selfless teammate character the most? Who's the one that kind of drives the charge for that? And when people can look to as a role model when you're gone to say, this is how we want to be a good teammate.
I definitely think that you can look to Reagan Greeneisen. She's a great teammate. She's always there to pat your back when you make a mistake. She's there to just like tell you that you'll get the next ball. She's always hyping everyone up and staying excited. She never gets down on herself. She's very positive throughout everything.
Hannah, thank you so much for taking time with us today. Sorry for the technical difficulties to get started, but we're so happy that you overcame them and naturally spent some time here with us today and told us your story. We're rooting for you, kiddo. Let us know if there's anything we can do from our end.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, Hannah Rush, the senior setter for West Branch Volleyball. Great interview again, and just another great person that you can't help but root for on the court.
Yeah, I mean, again, another professional interview, Anthony, that just continues they're like pancakes now. They just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. It's like they watch the show or something, or watch these interviews and say, how do I like, what interview questions can I be ready for? That's why we have to change up our questions all the time, because we got to keep these kids on their toes and not have the same like machine gun questions of what do you want to eat and what do you want to be when you grow up? And the role models question is always going to be in there because we got to know. But at the end of the day, these kids are getting better and better at answering questions that we ask them, which we hope translates into the real world whenever they're going for job interviews someday as well.
All right, before we get into some other ones that we're gonna let you guys hear on Running Point, DJ, I think we have some Baird Brothers winners, some people that have won the vote that ended Sunday at midnight to kind of address. Can you announce who the winners were for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley last week?
Yeah, give me 1 second to pull it up.
You got it. Great nominees last week as well on both sides. I know the voting totals were very impressive on both sides as well. So we commend all the fans that get out there and vote for Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. And new nominees will be announced soon. And when they do, head over to ysnlive.com/Big Dog to cast your votes for the next slate of nominees. Voting is unlimited and always ends Sunday at midnight.
Well, not always Sunday. There's
almost always Sunday at midnight.
Sometimes there's different things like holidays and things of that nature. So last week, from Austintown Fitch for the boys, Deshaun Vaughn comes through with a big victory. Congratulations to him. He just continues to put up numbers, even in that Massillon game. The game that got him to be nominated. This young man is just a chain reaction of good things. One of the best backs and players and just young men in general in this entire valley. So he takes the King's crown this week. And no surprise to anybody that knows this team and how much they stick together, from Jackson Milton, Paige Grope. She gets a big time, record setting performance the week before. And then she becomes the Big Dog of the Valley the week right after. So I believe is that two? No, that's one. The other one's from Lakeview. I apologize. Tara Lytle. They're both blue, so it's hard to keep track sometimes. So congratulations to Paige Grope and Deshaun Vaughn, your winners this week. And we will have the new nominees out tonight before I go to bed.
That's another thing to look forward to on ysnlive.com. Not just the content and the interviews. We'll also have stories about those two winners up a little bit later tonight as well. We will try our best, very best, to schedule interviews with them soon so we can hear from those guys and girls about their wonderful seasons and their accomplishments that got them to win Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley. Paige Grope is now the Jackson Milton assist leader because she was the only player in Jackson Milton volleyball to get 1,000 assists. So congratulations to her on not just accomplishing that milestone, but also sticking her flag at the top of that program.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it comes down to how much do you want it? How bad do you want it? How much are you going to work for it to get there? And Paige Grope, we know, first off, has sweet kicks. She's got awesome shoes. But she's got awesome game on top of it because you know that you can't wear anything flashy without being able to back it up, and Paige certainly does that.
And then when you look at Deshaun Vaughn Jr., a guy that stepped into a role that everyone was asking about Austintown Fitch, who's going to be the next quarterback, how are you going to kind of fill the gap of Devin Sherwood? Obviously, he did great things as a Falcon, and Deshaun Vaughn Jr. just kind of stepped right into it, never hesitated, and really has led them to an impressive start despite that one loss last week to Maslin.
I mean, and when you look at that loss, Anthony, it's not one that people sit there and wonder, like, okay, that was, I mean, put all your chips on the table if you're Fitch, right? That's a Maslin program that just came off a huge victory the week before. You wanted their best, you got their best, and now you know where you stack up. So when week 11 comes, I think Fitch feels confident knowing that they've gone against some of the best punches in this entire area with one of the toughest schedules on the entire YSN roster.
Could be a possible rematch in the playoffs, but it wouldn't be until at least the state semifinal as Maslin finds themselves in Region 7. Fitch is in Region 5. So those two could meet in Division 2 playoffs, but it would be way down the line, and that would be an epic rematch if that kind of stakes were on the line. For sure.
I can only hope.
Only hope. That's what we always hope, that we get YSN teams to succeed that far, and we are still covering teams down in the end of November / the beginning of December, and we can talk about teams trying to bring home a state championship trophy. But we have a lot more football, soccer, volleyball to play before we get to that point, and we have more and more players to get to and talk about and stories to tell before we get to this point. So we are going to play another one for you. We are going to go to Camel and hear from their new member of the 1,000 Assist Club, and Carla Ramirez Ortiz. We're going to hear from her, and then we'll come back and we'll also hear from Logan Butcher from South Range Soccer and Football as well before we get out of this show. So here is Carla Ramirez Ortiz from Camel Volleyball on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Harwig here, YSN. We're with a Camel Volleyball player profile. I'm joined by Carla Ramirez Ortiz, brought to you by Baird Brothers. Carla, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Newest member of the 1,000 Assist Club in Camel. We're going to start with that. And before we ask you about that moment and that night, I want to ask you about leading up to it, the anticipation for it. Did you feel any pressure in the last couple of games before you got it to try to put up those numbers and getting closer and closer?
It really did. I was too focused on getting the assists that I couldn't actually have good sets. So it was just a little bit hard for me to not focus on that and focus on the game.
When did you know that you were close? I mean, was this a goal that you set at the beginning of the season when you realized it was obtainable, or was it kind of a couple of games in you realized that this was going to be an obtainable goal for you?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I knew I was going to be able to reach 1,000 assists, but I didn't pay attention at all until the last couple of games that I asked my coach, and yeah.
All right, so let's go through that moment that night. It finally does happen for you. I know that your team celebrated it so much, and you know your school put it on social media. They were so proud of you. What was it like to go through that moment and have it be with your team, and what was that moment like for you?
It was amazing. I never felt that way before. It was just, I was so happy that I finally accomplished my goal. And yeah, but I want to thank my teammates and my coaches for always being there for me, and because without them it wouldn't be.
Unlike some other stats where people get milestones, kills, digs, points in basketball, with assists, you have to have the other person put it away before you get the stats. So, how much have you appreciated your hitters and being able to have such a close connection with them, and obviously not being able to get to 1,000 without the great hitters that put balls away that you set up to them?
Well, okay, so I feel like me and my hitters, we all have a good chemistry because we have been playing for years together. So I feel like that helps a lot when we get in because I know where they want the ball. I know when to set, I know where when to put the set and what set to put because we have good communication and chemistry.
So obviously, like you said, that chemistry has been built over the years, and now you come into this season. This is a very rejuvenated volleyball program. You guys got a first tournament win in a while last season, and now this season you're getting conference wins, you're getting non-conference wins. I mean, what's it been like to be a part of this kind of resurgence of Camel volleyball?
It's been amazing because when we first started the program, it was not good at all. But the girls and the coaches have been putting time in, and now it's showing. Over the summer, we had practice open gyms and jump stretch, and now it's showing the hard work that we put in.
We've talked to Coach Allen before. We know the kind of energy he brings into this program. How much has that helped you guys, knowing that you have a coach that is pouring in the same amount of time that you are, and he's almost, if not just as passionate about the winning and getting this Camel program as high as it can be as you guys are?
It's amazing to have a coach that actually cares about you and that's always there for you. Because if you don't have a coach that's actually putting the time in, the team is not gonna work.
What kind of things has Coach Allen taught you about not just volleyball, but kind of about yourself as a person in your journey with him?
To work hard and to never give up.
When you think about the rest of the coaching staff and maybe when you look back on your career, the biggest things that you've grown on since they've kind of taken over, what kind of parts of the game do you think you've grown in the most since they took over as the coaches?
I'll say my communication and my chemistry with my teammates is I don't know. It's
Looking at your numbers, you're no slouch on defense either. You have a lot of digs this season. How much kind of respect and how much pride do you take in being able to be in the back row and to be able to put a good pass on the ball if teams decide to attack you?
Well, I hate playing defense. Defense is something that I just don't like at all. But I have to do it because if I don't do it, then it's just going to be a bad game. So,
as a setter, you also have to be a leader. So how much have you led this team? How would you describe your leadership qualities and how much have you grown as a leader, do you think, in your career?
I feel like I've grown a lot because when I first started, English is my second language. Mm-hmm. So, I was too shy to speak and talk to my teammates and, help them out and, pick them up when they're down, during the game. But now it's just, I'm being more vocal and, yeah.
With English being your second language, have you ever run into, communication troubles with the communication, trying to get things across from your teammates? Has that ever been something that you had to work through?
Yeah, sometimes I start speaking Spanish to them out of nowhere, but I don't mean to. It's just be coming out.
Have you taught any of your teammates Spanish so you can kind of give signals without other teams that maybe don't know Spanish knowing? Or do you have secret Spanish signals that you can give your teammates?
Well, Me and Angelise and Gabby, we all speak Spanish, so we talk in Spanish while the game is going on.
What's one thing about that you think is so special that you're able to kind of bring not just that language, but you guys are able to bring that kind of culture and the cultural differences to this team, and kind of, you're able to expose the team to a little bit of different ways of life.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, so like, not just the language barrier that you guys have on the team, but obviously you guys have, the cultural differences and some of the things that you're able to bring to the team and expose to your teammates. What's that been like to be able to share that part of yourselves with them?
It's been like, I don't know how to explain that.
It's all good. We'll move on. We'll just move on to the next one. When you talk about yourself off the court, what are some of the subjects that you like studying in school and that you like to learn about?
I love science. Science is just my favorite subject. And when I graduate, I want to be a doctor. So it's just like everything like clicks.
When you look at wanting to be a doctor, was there a thing in your life, or is there a person that you look at when you were growing up that kind of made you want to go into that field?
Yes, my dad is a doctor, so it's just like in the family, I guess. And I just wanted to be a doctor.
Let's talk about that family a little bit more. Are you a part of a big family? Are you a smaller family? And how much have you kind of relied on them throughout your career to lean on for support?
Well, my family is big. Like, I have a big family, but they're always like there to support me. And like all of them play volleyball too. So they help me a lot with my sets and everything, because all of them were setters too.
Wow, so you come from a family of setters. Has that been ever kind of daunting to know that you're trying to hold up the family legacy and setting, and you're trying to do what your family has been doing for a while?
Yes. I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's all good. When you think about some of the encouragement that your family has been able to give you and the support that they give, how much would you say that it has impacted the success that you've had in your career?
A lot. It's like, wait, what was the question?
How much has the support and encouragement from your family impacted your success on your career?
So without them, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. Without us moving here, I would have like never met the people that I met. They're always supporting me. Like, if I need to go somewhere, like I play club, so if I have to travel 2 hours, they will take me there. They will take me anywhere for me to be a good player.
What's the biggest form of adversity that you've had to face in your career, or biggest challenge that you've had to kind of work your way around?
Communication and playing defense. There's like the two biggest things.
Who has been the biggest kind of person, whether it be a teammate, a coach, or a family member, that has kind of helped you through that obstacle?
Kendall Brown, like our middle, she's such an amazing person. Every time I'm down, or like if I need help with something, she's always there for me. And yeah.
We talked about your favorite subject. Obviously, it's science. What's the one subject that you kind of have to work the hardest at, or you find the hardest to kind of grasp?
English. It's just very hard for me.
I'm sure you get a lot of help with that too, though. I'm sure you have a lot of people that are helping you with the English stuff. What our language is so hard for even us to have it as a first language. What was the hardest thing to pick up about it?
Honestly, probably everything. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know, like, it was hard for me to like the adjectives and all of that stuff. Like, it was just hard.
All right, now that we've learned so much about you on the court, what about off the court? What kind of things do you like to do in your downtime? What kind of hobbies do you have?
Well, now I'm a cheerleader. That's basically the only thing I do, or hang out with my friends.
So you play volleyball and you cheerlead. So I got to ask you about the Friday night atmosphere, what it's like to be a cheerleader for this football team. They have a great stadium, a beautiful stadium. What's it like to kind of pour your energy into them and support them? Because I know they support you guys a lot in the volleyball games.
It's really fun, but sometimes it gets frustrated when they're like doing bad and stuff.
And I think every fan is right there with you. What's your favorite thing about cheerleading?
Very like the energy and the friendships that you make.
What about your favorite thing about volleyball? What's your favorite thing about being a volleyball player?
I love the chemistry that the team has and how we like the family that you grow out of it. It's just everything. Like I just love that.
All right, Carla, before I let you go, I want to ask, who is your biggest role model that you have in your life? And give them a shout out before we get out of here.
Probably my mom. Like without her, I would never like play volleyball because she was like a volleyball player. So like it came out of her. And like she literally taught me everything I know about setting and like how to play when I was little, because I started when I was 7 years old. So she taught me everything, and yeah, I'm so thankful that I have her.
All right, Carla, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the year, and we will definitely talk to you again real soon. That was Carla Ramirez Ortiz from Campbell, a new member of that 1,000 Assist Club. Campbell Volleyball, a research and program that has really benefited from the energy that Coach Tyler Allen has brought to it and the time that he has put into it. And he has let players like Carla and like Kendall Brunn and some of the other great players, Angelise Diaz, another name that has really popped up well in that program. So he's brought some energy to them. He's brought some confidence into them, and they have been able to rack up a lot of wins this season as the Red Devils try to have one of the best seasons that their program has ever had. And one of the interesting things about that conversation was not only did Carla have to deal with all the stuff that a varsity level player has to deal with and the struggles and the obstacles, but she also had to deal with that communication barrier of English not being her first language, and had to figure out ways to learn how to communicate on the floor with English not being her first language. I thought that was an impressive thing to hear about how she navigated that.
Yeah, she did unbelievable on the floor, but certainly in the interview where the guy interviewing her is throwing her the toughest questions in the English vocabulary. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, like, how would I fare? I took French in high school. How would I fare if someone threw a French interview at me? And she passed with flying colors. And obviously, there were some things that she didn't probably understand from our vernacular, from our world. Speaking over, and that's okay because you were patient with her, you were kind with her, and she took the time to do this. And she seems like a soft-spoken young lady to begin with, and we wish her all the best.
Something that it really it pushed me to, because I've honestly never done an interview like that before, and I had to kind of find ways to grow it myself. So I enjoyed it, and I thought it was a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Can't wait to see what she does in the future. She's a junior, so we have one more year of watching her as well in that program. So great to hear from her, and great to continue to see what she's going to do. But without further ado, we have one more interview that we're going to play for you. It is Logan Butcher, who is also a junior at South Range. He is a member of that soccer team and the football team. So let's hear from Mr. Butcher on this, soccer and football player profile from South Range. Anthony Hartwig here with a South Range player profile. I could say football, I could say soccer, but man, this guy does both. It is Logan Butcher from South Range. Logan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Mr. Hartwig, for having me.
And let's start with the football team, of course, and being on this program that has won so much, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, such a prestigious football program. When you get to put on that uniform and step on that field, what kind of sense of pride does it give you to be a part of this team?
I can't thank enough to Coach Yeagley and my teammates. They support me 100%. As soon as I walked on, I had the confidence to go out and be a kicker. Becoming second string, they've always been supporting me, and my teammates first, and then once Luke suffered an injury, which opened up the opportunity for me being first string, and a lot of people were nervous, but they were supportive of me. And what really also motivated me was the fact that they're doing their job, my job, 100%.
The stereotype is any soccer player can go on and kick a football, be a field goal kicker, be a kickoff specialist, but we know that's not the case. It's a lot harder than it sounds. What was the biggest part of transitioning into that and trying to learn how to transition between the soccer field and the football field?
Well, first, before Luke got healthy competition and practice, we both pushed each other kickers, which helped me with that transition. But really, I worked really hard at my craft. Coach Doc helped me out a lot, but really it was me pushing myself, and me and Luke Starkey pushing each other before he got hurt.
What was the hardest kind of transition or the hardest thing to pick up when you did make that transition between kicking a soccer ball, like you said, and kicking a football?
Really, it's your foot and how you. It's because you want to naturally, not really. You're gonna have you have to count your steps, and you have to kick. It's really different, but you have to kick the ball on a third of the ball. It's you can't just swing at it. You got to go straight through.
What was kind of the hardest thing for you to pick up? The thing you had to work on the most?
Probably the footing of where I don't have to wipe at the ball. I have to go right through the ball. That was the hardest, but yeah.
And now, like you said, you've been given this opportunity. It's not a reason that you like to get it because of an injury. You never want to get an opportunity that way to see one of your brothers hurt, but you got this opportunity. First time you get to step on that field as a starting, kicker. What was some of the emotions going through your mind, and how do you kind of deal with the nerves that I'm sure that you had?
Well, what I usually repeat when I'm nervous, I and present in the moment what needs to be done, and then I execute. I do that naturally. Of course, I pray, but I really think about my other teammates and how hard they work. Leaders on their team and what our leaders on our team, what they do, and I just think about that, and that just really motivates me in order to get the job.
This offense makes you a busy person because, man, do they score a lot. What's it like just kind of never having to worry to be cold and never have to worry about, waiting a while to kick, and you can always kind of go out there and that the offense is going to give you plenty of opportunities?
It feels great. Of course, when I came first, my debut for Poland, it was, I was nervous, but really when the offense was scoring a lot, I had a lot of attempts and a lot of tries, but of course, all the seniors, Chris Colucci, Shane Lindstrom, Billy Skirpak, Bailey Ryan, they were all very supportive, and they were just pushing for me, and it helped me because, they were supporting me.
Can we talk about this big win over Girard? A lot of people came into this game thinking it was going to be, the battle of the unbeatens, and it was going to be a tough, hard-fought game in South Range, and you guys just really put your foot down and really dominated this game. What do you think was the difference in that night, and how proud are you of your teammates for everything they were able to do on the field?
As soon as we got off that bus, I'm proud of them. We're there. We have our job, and it's to win. Our mentality, we walked into it, we are the best team in the NE8, and we just got in there and got the job done. We were very physical. We played our game. We didn't go away. We didn't play Girard's game. We just played our game, and we executed like we practiced.
All right, so you're coached by one of the best in the area, definitely one of the most well-respected coaches in the area, and of course, he gave you the opportunity to come on this team and be a kicker. So, what have you learned from Coach Yeagley? What kind of things does he do for you, not just as a football player, but as a person?
Well, first off, I do sports, of course, so he does check on my soccer, and he just really has that that care for me and the respect for me. He's gone, giving me the pads, giving me the jersey. He's done everything. I've learned, how to actually like the opponent, how to respect your opponent. Everyone just respects him a lot, and his knowledge of just the game, it helps me, grow. I've had a little history of football. I played IFFA football, but shout out to Coach Bortle. Really, I didn't have a lot of football background. So he helped me transition to that, how to put on pads and everything else like that. But he's been there and is still there for me.
Is there a phrase or a quote from Coach Yeagley that he's already said that has kind of stuck with you?
Hydrate like crazy. That's a big one because you got to be healthy. You got to ready to go quicker because you never know. You may, we need you right now. I've been taught, last second we need you. I've gone out and performed for him.
This question will give us a perfect segue into soccer, but being always ready and being conditioned and being hydrated, how much is soccer, a sport where you're constantly running and running a lot, help you with that facet of football?
It's helped me a lot. We do tons of conditioning at soccer. Tabatas, we do a lot of those. It helped me a lot. Football is different with the equipment. You're running with pads on. It's different, but really soccer has helped me a ton with the conditioning part.
And of course, we talked about the prestigiousness of this football program, but the soccer program is one of only 3 sports at South Range that has that Ohio State banner in the gym that signifies that they made it to a state championship game. They have 2 of them. They're one of only 2 teams have 2 of them. So when you look at all that and that, how much of a kind of burden, or I should say, blessing, or it could be both. Is it high pressure to be on a team that has had so much success, and also what kind of blessing is it to be a part of a team that has so much success?
Well, it is a blessing. It's the fact that the teammates and the coaches are very, very, they're very good. They have invested interest in you, and the teammates, they're family. Even if you don't like each other, on both, I've seen that in soccer and in football. Even if you don't like each other, you play as hard as you can. You don't walk off that field until you did your job. You played as hard as you can. It is an honor to play for both of those sports and have amazing for both of them.
Okay, when we look at your soccer team, obviously, with as good as you guys have been, you draw a very tough schedule, and maybe not the start that you guys wanted, but you've won 4 in a row before tying Hubbard in your last time out. So you haven't lost in a while since the last time you actually played the team you're playing tonight in Poland. Do you think this team is really starting to find a stride and really starting to find their own identity with a 4-game kind of winning streak?
Well, like you said, we did have a slow start. Part of the reason was because we're still trying to find our groove, the spark. We are a young team, so we were trying to find that. We graduated tons of people last year: Canada Thomas, Mark Naples, Brandon Johnson, Lee Bowman, and many others. But our groove, if we keep to we don't dribble through, it's not a one-man team. We play with each other. We work work hard, and I think we finally have that groove. If we play together and we play how we know how to play, I think we'll be fine.
Big matchup tonight against Poland. Last time around, it was so close. You guys dropped the 2-1 score. How excited are you for this second opportunity to face the Bulldogs and try to kind of redeem the loss earlier in the season?
I'm excited. I give tons of respect to Poland. Nohud is a great player. I think we match them in talent. It's the fact that if we want it more, if are we willing to do the extra mile for your teammate? If we play our game, we have a chance. Our team has the talent, and we do have the soccer skill to do.
How did you get into soccer, and what kind of things made you fall in love with the sport?
Well, it started off when I was my dad and my soccer when they introduced me. I watched Columbus Crew games when I was younger. Really, I watched World Cup when I was younger too. I watched Neymar, Messi. I saw all that, and I loved it. I loved the passion after they score. Your teammate up after attack. The passion in soccer, I love it. It started when I was 3, playing with my uncles, and yeah.
All right, so when you were growing up watching the Crew and watching the World Cup and watching all these great soccer players, who was the one guy that you saw and you said, man, I want to kind of play like this kid?
Well, Neymar Jr. was a big one. I love his flair, his the flicks he does, and the passion he has. I mean, you see it in the World Cup. He's he's crying, love his teammates, even if he doesn't score, and if his team scores, he's just crying and loves his teammates. And I think I'm like that. I love my teammates. I'm passionate when they score. I'm passionate when I score. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Coach, you can ask Coach Stamp. I'm like the hype. I hype my teammates up. Good job. I get that. That's why I like Neymar because he's like that.
What makes this soccer team unique? Like you said, you're the hype man, which means you know your teammates better than anybody. So, what makes this soccer team kind of unique from the ones in the past?
Really, we don't play good soccer, so we may sometimes not lack in the physical to make up for the soccer talent. We very talented soccer players. We know how to move the ball well. Most of us played Soccer Vision Academy. Coach James crafted tons of players on our team to play great soccer. That's why we are, because we work hard off season, and we go to Coach James, which is a phenomenal coach that has crafted most of the team.
A lot of really good soccer players in the area, but Steel Valley Soccer, one of our good friends that cover soccer so well, they've put you on the players to watch list for not just this week, but the rest of the season. What does that mean to you to be kind of listed among a bunch of really good names in the soccer community?
It feels great, but my teammates make it easy for me when they do their job, so I have to do my job. When I'm seeing teammates in the tackles, giving me great passes, I'm going to do the same. It frees up opportunity to play how I play, which I hold myself to high standards. So yeah, I love how I'm a player to watch, but I think my team is a team to watch as well.
I see you wear the 11 on the jersey. Is there a story behind your number, or is it just one that you fell into?
Well, it's kind of something I fell into, kind of like number 78 on the football. Kind of, something I kind of grabbed. Neymar is number 11, so I do, admire him. So part of the reason.
Hey, it all worked out. You got the jersey number of the guy that you looked up to as a kid. Off the field, let's get to knowing you a little bit off the field. What are some hobbies that you have? What are some things that you like to do outside of sports?
Well, I do love to hang out with my friends. I do play two sports, so that takes up a lot of time. Of course, I'm in school, but I do hang out with my friends a lot. If it's on the Chiefs or going to Buffalo Wild Wings, but also I do like to hang out with my family, watch Ohio State games, Browns games. Yeah, just hanging out with my family and my friends.
How do you kind of slow down? Like, I'm sure with such a busy life, there have to be moments where you have to kind of take a mental break or try to, relax your body. What kind of things do you do to kind of slow yourself down in those kind of times?
Well, I always have a soccer ball, football. I'm always playing. When I do want to settle down, I do like to set out my porch, and sometimes, usually Sundays I go to church, but I like to settle down, have a family, nice family dinner, talk about the week, talk about what's going on. That's usually how I settle down, is talk with my family. How's everyone? Because when you have two sports, it's hard to talk to your family when you get home at like 9 o'clock at night. So Sundays and Saturdays I usually like to sit down and talk with my family, and that's how I chill out. Is
You talked about praying before kicks, and obviously you go to church every Sunday. How important is your faith in everything that you do on the athletic side, and how much of your success do you kind of contribute to the faith that you have?
Well, everything I do is for God. I'm a very strong Christian. It's my parents are doing growing me in faith. Everything I do is for Him, and it's a strong, I have a strong relationship with Him. And every time I go in that field, I'm praying, or if when Luke Stark got hurt, I'm praying. I'm safe, praying my teammates are safe, praying my family's safe, and yeah.
Do you have a favorite verse that you like to kind of tell yourself before a game?
I don't have a favorite verse, but I do just pray. When I, having God's strength in me, be with me, be with my teammates,
What do you think are some things that are common misconceptions about the sport of soccer that people from maybe outside the sport have?
Well, people do say, "Oh, you're soft. It's light. It's an easy sport." I mean, you could say that, but as soon as you go on the field, you're running 5-6 miles. Then you can, then you can have a word. But it's really hard when you're running a ton. You have to make decisions. Very quick decisions on what run to make, or when to come to the ball, and how dribbling is not easy too at a very fast speed. So those are kind of some of those things you don't really see from a non-soccer player. They say oh, it's easy, I can run, I can kick a ball.
Anytime people say that, I point out the statistic that soccer has the biggest rate of concussions of any sport. It's not football, and you wouldn't think that, but it's soccer actually. which I'm sure you're aware of. And every time you go on the floor, on the field, you're trying to protect yourself too. When you look at your schooling, you're a student athlete. So I want to talk a little bit about your school. What are some of the things you like to study and some of the things that you really like to learn about at school?
I really like American government. I like, what's going on today. I like, history. I love history. I love doing things. I love chemistry. I like, seeing what the product is, how to get to the solution. I like that stuff. I'm not a big math guy, but I do. Yeah, those are my two: is chemistry and American history. I like doing those.
All right, so let's talk about the history first. Who's the best history teacher at South Range right now?
Oh man,
Put you on the spot.
I love Mr. Lindstrom. I love Mr. Leach, but oh man, you put me on the spot. I can't. I don't have a favorite. I love.
That's the political answer right down the line. Trying to get the grades. It's okay. But it's interesting that you say you're not a big fan of math, but you like chemistry, because I know chemistry is just science trying to be math. There's a lot of math involved in that. So what do you think the difference is between the math that you don't like and the chemistry that you do?
Well, I like hands-on. I like what's going on. I like observing. Seeing what's happening, and and I like doing that stuff. But when it comes to numbers, I mean, I'll do it, and anyway.
So I'm guessing balancing equations is not the favorite part of chemistry.
No.
When you look at some of the things that those kind of fields want to take you in, do you have any kind of ideas of what career you want to go into or what job you'd like to have in the future?
Well, of course, I love athletics. I love everything about it. I've been, of course, playing soccer since I was 3. So I really like coaching. I really like teaching. So teaching is an option. I love, like I said, I like athletics. So being like in sports medicine, if it's, yeah.
All right, I got Gatorade right here, so I'm wondering, someone that has to stay hydrated so much, what's your favorite flavor of Gatorade?
Oh man, I think it's yellow. I think it's lemon.
I got the lemon lime, so I'm
Yep.
right there with you. Right on brand. That's the OG. If Gatorade came to you and asked you to create a flavor, what do you think would be the perfect Logan Butcher flavor of Gatorade?
Man, it's probably the red and the blue, because those are really good too. If I mix
So you like mix the two almost?
Oh yeah.
Make it like a Superman flavor?
Oh yeah, Superman.
Going in there, what's your favorite superhero?
Superhero. Probably, let's see. It's probably Flash.
Oh, that's not a common answer, but I like it. Soccer players got to be fast. Let's go with the fastest man alive, faster than Superman. Who's your real life hero?
Oh yeah. Real life hero. My dad. My dad's my hero. He's just an inspiration to me, and my mom and my dad are both my heroes. I mean, I don't have one hero. I'm gonna say I love my parents, and they do so much for me. Ever since I was little, they drive me to practice, always give me pep talks. If we have bad games too, superheroes have bad games, and so they help me through that. And those are my two superheroes. My mom.
Before I let you go, I'll ask you one more question about those two. What do you think the biggest lesson they've taught you throughout your life would be? If you had to pick, I know parents teach a lot, but if you had to pick one lesson that your parents have taught you that has really rung true throughout your life, what do you think it is?
It'd probably be a better me or a better Butch. It's each day I want to better myself. If it's in the classroom, if it's on the soccer field, or if it's on the football field, or even everything I do, be the best you can and be better than you were.
All right, Logan, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're right in the middle of a school day, so we appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the day. I hope you have a good one. Good luck tonight against Poland as well. And we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
That's Logan Butcher from South Range, and that'll wrap us up as we head out for the Casual Sports Podcast. Coming up from 2 to 3, Power Hour will be joining you from 3 to 4. Bunch of games on the network tonight. Head over to ysnlive.com/live to check those out. Also, we have live player profiles and coaches' corners coming to you from Golden Dawn with Ursuline, and then South Range Legends Food and Drink. Head over to those if you want to check out those as well. All on ysnlive.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you tomorrow from 12 to 2 on Running Point, brought to you by